Welcome to VAFA Tragics, and thank you for joining us. We have a massive show planned, but before we get into it, we need to introduce our special guest. He's a former Big V player in the under-23s. He's been named on the half-back flank in the 2015 Premier B Team of the Year. His St Bede's Mentone Tigers struggled early on, but they just had their first win of the season. Please join me in welcoming Josh Cowan.
Thank you, mate.
Thank you for joining us.
That's all right. No, that's good. It's good to be here.
You've always been a long-time fan of the show.
Absolutely. What you look forward to every Thursday to watch on social media. It's a good show.
And Brenton, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Nick. Josh, breaking glass ceiling here. First player ever on VAFA Tragics. We're breaking ground every week.
Award-winning.
Now, Lenny Watch.
We do have a quick
Lenny Watch. The man is just, parading around the French Alps. He's in Samoise at a wedding today in a Parisian chapel somewhere. London. We saw him in London. Now, the thing that's got me about Lenny, apparently he's on this trip with his wife. I haven't seen her in one picture. You must hire her as a photographer. He says it's a little bit rich, isn't it? It's a bit rich.
It is very rich.
Yes.
She's gone over there without the kids, as you said
in
the first Instagram
Yeah.
post. And it's all Lenny, as far as I can see.
And it's really making me sick on my Instagram feed. But we move on. Tragics goes on, and we've got a massive show coming up.
Absolutely. We'll bring you more Lenny Watch as his trip continues. First cab off the rank. Josh, pretty slow start for St Bede's, but you've made the move up to Premier. It was your second half this week.
Yeah, probably going by round 1 and 2, our second half hadn't been so good. But what we'll speak about earlier, Sammy's been really good. His message has been really consistent across the 4 weeks. And we're probably getting a bit of due reward for our effort. We've been pretty good round 1 and 2. One bad quarter against Savs, and they kicked 7 goals, and you're just like, oh, geez, tough day. But from there, we had 28 scoring shots against Savs, so it's not the worst thing in the world, but we're going all right.
So you're getting inside 50, as it is.
Yeah, correct. Robbo's gone forward, and he's a good marking target. Won us a game last year against Parkdale after siren, so he can kick goals. Which is just a matter of time before we put a big score on the board.
Now, for promoted sides, we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago. In 2017, they've just won 17 of their 48 games, which is at 35%. So they've found it pretty difficult to go up. Between yourself and Bo Morris, your win on the weekend against the Blues was the first, as they drew in round 1 against
OMs
in that abandoned match. How have you seen that transition from Premier B to Premier football?
It's tough, right? We played Trinity and Savs, the two reigning the grand finalists. Collegians obviously have picked up a lot of players. Look, it's a good challenge. You play A grade for a reason. It's one of the best comps in the country. So there's not going to be easy games. And look, it's just where we can build, and that's what we're doing at the moment. And hopefully we can sort of take that to the next level.
What's been the main difference you've noticed coming from Premier B to Premier, winning back Premier in the first 4 rounds?
There's no bad players.
Yeah. And
there's just no bad, you can't have bad 5 minutes. We had bad 5 minutes against Trinity and Collegians. Third quarter, they probably piled on 5 goals against Trinity, and it's all she wrote. We're down by 6 goals, and we come home hard in the last, and they kick a couple at the end, and there we go. And
you mentioned earlier Sam Anstey coming in. His message has been consistent. How's he fitted in since coming into the club this year?
Yeah, he's good. I'll be getting fined after this for sucking up, but he's just a really good guy. He connects well. You can tell he can play it under Luke Beveridge. He knows how to connect to people. He was pretty grumpy during the week, and I tried a couple of jokes, and he didn't like that too much.
Pick your moments.
Yeah, he didn't like it, and I told him Saturday night, and he goes, "Yeah, I was grumpy." Well, it worked, and he joked during the week. He said, "You're not getting new footies until you win." So maybe that's behind the win on the weekend. So our form might start to turn using better footies.
Yeah. Absolutely. We'll take a break, and we'll be back with more VAFA Tragics.
Anytime is the right time to get fit at Anytime Fitness. Access over 400 gyms across the country 24/7 and discover why more Australians train at Anytime Fitness than any other gym. Go online and register now for your free 7-day pass and feel something better.
Welcome back to VAFA Tragics. Let's head straight into Players of the Week. Brenton, we'll start with you.
I'm going to go to Club 18s this week, and a club that hasn't had a lot of success over its time, but Chadstone Club 18 side number 2 is 4-0. The Sinners are flying, and that's great for football and much needed, boost for their club.
Most definitely. I think there's Club 18-1 had a win a couple of weeks ago, so the double on the same weekend.
That's great.
Again, Jordan Reserve apparently was going off that night.
Yeah, I'm sure it would have been.
Josh, your player of the week?
It goes to one of my teammates, James Tyquin, unloaded just an absolute barrel. Pity it was touched on the mark, but He still got a fair old leg in him, the old fella.
Did he celebrate? Did he know it was touched, or did he celebrate?
I celebrated.
You celebrated,
but then he was the one that cooled me down real quick.
We really liked the early celebrator or the over celebrator on the Tragics.
Love the early celebrator, especially. That's embarrassing sort of stuff. My performance of the week, Matt Boland from Parkdale Vultures made his return after more than 12 months away from the game. If you remember correctly, in round 1 last year against Hampton Rovers, he kicked 5 goals in the first quarter and did his ACL at the start of the second when he would have been lining up for his 6th. His return to the Parkdale lineup, they were winless. He kicked 6 goals. They beat Old Kerry, get off the mark. So Matthew Boland gets my performance of the week in what was a fantastic effort, fantastic comeback.
Yes, it certainly was. And he's a star, and he's going to be a welcome addition to Parkdale this year.
Most certainly. Let's move on to our first topic, and I want to touch on grand final rematches. Brenton, why is there a bigger build-up to a grand final rematch as opposed to any other home and away game?
Don't underestimate the emotional drive of redemption and revenge, Nick. I know you've got a pretty good stance, pretty strong stance on this, of opposing the grand final rematch and what weight it holds, and then you think it's just another match. But redemption and revenge, and I'd like to get your take on this. When you come up against Bo Morris this year, what are you going to be thinking prior to the match?
Look, for me, I didn't probably have my best game in the grand final. So for me, it's really a bit of redemption. Like, obviously, you can't win you don't get the flag back, but you get a little bit of personal satisfaction that you know your best is good enough on the stage, and hopefully you can get one back up.
Move back to 08. Paul Chapman famously said after the Hawks beat the Cats, "We will never lose to this Hawthorn side again," and they held that record until I think 2013. I think until the Hawks got them again in the final. So it's a driving factor, and I believe that it holds emotional weight rather than just the 4 points.
I disagree that there should be a bigger build-up to a grand final rematch, because at the end of the day, it's another home and away game. So there were 2 grand final rematches on the weekend, Zavarians Trinity and Mazenod versus Peninsula. I was at the old Zavs and Trinity game, and for the life of me, I just do not believe that Trinity wanted to win that game anymore because they'd lost to Zavs a year before. I think Trinity, they wanted to win that match because if they didn't, they would have lost 2 in a row and they would have fallen further outside the 4, which it didn't happen because St Bede's got over Uni Blues, but I believe that would have been and should have been the main driving factor. And on the other side of it, Zavs, I don't think, wanted to beat Trinity again because they had this winning streak over them. Zavs are on an unbeaten run, and no one wants to give up an unbeaten run. But also, if we do use the historical factor here, they lost to them at Toorak Park in round 18 last year, and if anything, they wanted to get the home ground advantage back. I just do not think, and I know there is emotion, absolutely, but at the end of the day, it's another 4 points, and what you play football for is to win grand finals. And how you devise how to do that is by winning enough home and away games to get there. And I understand some blokes play because they want to have fun with their mates, but you tell me what's more fun than winning a grand final with your mates?
Yeah, I've lost a couple, so it is good fun. Like, I remember when we played Old Ivanhoe from when I was back at Mazenod, and look, like, it is a bit of noise during the week, but you do want to beat them at the end of the day, and it just adds that little bit of extra incentive. If for Trinity, probably knocking off Zavs would end that unbeaten run. It just gives it a little bit of extra satisfaction at the end of the day.
I think we'll just agree to disagree.
No, most certainly. And for those out there, it's a great discussion point.
It is a very good discussion point. And I think it's a case-by-case basis. Maybe if it's a rivalry of a grand final, then one rival gets over another, and then the next year the beaten rival wants to get some redemption back. But hey.
And look, if Zavs and Trinity meet again this year, then maybe round 4 next year I'll give more credence to the grand final rematch. Let's move on, Brenton, to the rule changes. Now, specifically, we've got deliberate rush behind and the deliberate out of bounds, which the VAFA has taken on as the AFL introduced it this year.
Yes. So deliberate rush behind has been a rule that's been around for a while. I tend to agree with, but there's been a stronger stance this year in regards to it's being treated more as if the goal line is the boundary line. So there's a bit less, leeway in regards to a player and how much pressure he's under. Now, I don't agree. See, it's in the mind. It's in the hands of the person chasing the player running towards the goal line. So if a defender is rushing towards the ball and it's going towards the goal line, he wants to minimise the damage. If the forward just stops chasing, and then the guy is under no pressure, but he isn't aware of it, and then rushes the ball, where do you stand on that? Should that be a deliberate rush behind?
Well, I just Well, we'll go through then what will be paid.
Yeah.
Because we can give their opinion. The ball is rushed for more than 9 metres.
Yep.
It will be paid.
I agree with that.
If the player has time and space for other options, which is what you're talking about, if the defender stops and he does have that time and space, it will be paid. The player was under no pressure, which is along the same lines. Or if the ball is knocked over the scoring line on the full from the ruck contest.
I don't think there's much of an issue with the deliberate rush behind, but the deliberate out of bounds is a very contentious rule at the moment. On the weekend, AFL level, it was under the spotlight. The rules committee met last week to possibly change it, and it's called insufficient intent to keep the ball in. Now, this is ridiculous. How can the umpire judge the intent of a player?
You use your discretion.
Use your discretion. Well, what if the player is in the middle of the ground, he kicks the ball off the ground, it goes towards the boundary line, dribbles over, he's 40 metres in the middle, in the corridor, and it goes... Would his intent be to deliberately put that ball across the line? That's the ones that really get on my...
I know, there's a lot of ambiguity with it.
Yeah.
Josh, from your point of view, from a player's point of view, is that, now that it's come in and it's so prevalent, is that something you think about when you're out there?
Not really. Like, you understand when you sort of know your own intention.
Yeah.
Like, you could probably hit a ball out and you know that if I get ping delivered here, fair enough. Like, I don't mind the rule. I think it just the discretion has to be correct. Just the timing and the way it's like when it's paid, because it just creates better attacking footy, and maybe the name just has to change from deliberate.
I agree with the premise of the rule, but I don't agree how it's being adjudicated. I see what they're trying to do, and it's allowed for a more attacking brand of football to be played, but you should be allowed to gain touch as a defender. You should be allowed to gain touch. The ones that are clearly deliberate, everyone can see, everyone knows you are trying to get the ball out. But the ones that gain touch from defensive 50 and it bounces at right angles and goes out, then I don't really agree with that. But
we are playing with an oval ball.
Yes.
After all, but is there room to go one further? I know the AFL will never do it, but at the VAFA we are the fastest brand of football you'll find in Australia. Is there room to introduce a last touch free kick against?
That would be
No, I don't believe.
Yeah, that's.
I know the Sandful is trialling it. I don't know how their trial is going, but I don't think that is. I don't believe in that rule. I don't think that's
Yeah, that would be like that just kills a game. Like the boundary line are there for a reason. Like it's not soccer. Like it's what's unique to our own game.
And what we've seen this year with the rule changes, there's so many coaches are the best at manipulating the rule, and players are as well in their favour. So say. One team is in front by a point. Now, they deliberately rush the ball over and kick the absolute bejesus out of the ball.
No, Michael.
Which gives them time to set up in front of the play and cover everything inside their defensive 50. I don't... Manipulation of rules it's going to happen forever and a day. I think they just need to get their adjudication clearer and eliminate the vagueness of the rule and the grey area, I think.
Well, 2 weeks ago, we spoke about the third man up rule here on the VAFA Tragics, and we did say that there would be changes.
Oh,
we
say it and it will happen.
Simon Lethlean, no, Benny Goodman definitely does. So the umpires have changed. The umpire managers, whatnot, have changed interpretation somewhat, so that if it's not clear who the ruckman is at any contest, they need to nominate. But if it's clear, especially as the match progresses, they need not nominate. Just take out that little bit of time wasting there. And with the boundary throw in, now if it falls short or goes over their head, a player can touch the ball without being
that's just common sense. That's exactly common sense. I don't know why does it filter up. They get everything filtered down. Maybe we should filter up to the AFL.
A few things that they've taken on board over the years. We hope you enjoyed that discussion. We'll be back with more VAFA Tragics just after this.
Anytime is the right time to get fit at Anytime Fitness. Access over 400 gyms across the country 24/7 and discover why more Australians train at Anytime Fitness than any other gym. Go online and register now for your free 7-day pass and feel something better.
Welcome back to VAFA Tragics. We hope you've enjoyed the episode thus far. Now, we mentioned earlier he played under 23s. Big V was named Player of the Carnival, but he's also in 15. He's gone over to Ireland as part of the biannual VAFA tour. What can you tell us about it?
Amazing experience. Like there's a lot of guys like that you would never know that are really good blokes, but seem to never have a good run in on with them in the field. But then every experience you have from there is pretty good. Like you open new friendships, new networks. Unbelievable. Like
Now, there's a rumour going around that we can break here tonight on the VAFA Tragics that for the 125th year anniversary and the Island Tour this year, that there may be 2 or 3 games in Dubai on the way over to Ireland.
Yeah.
How do you think the boys would cope if this came to fruition?
I think that's only good. That's only good for what we do. Like, probably the best experience was going across to London and playing an AFL game at Battersea Park. With that, we got to see a semi-final in the Rugby World Cup. So
Something you'd never get the
yeah,
chance to do
correct.
otherwise.
So I wouldn't get that chance, and you never know what could be in Dubai at the time. There could be, I don't know what goes on over there, but I'll find out if I'm on the tour. But
it's all luxury over there,
yeah,
isn't
correct, exactly. So it'd be a pretty good experience to
Climate-wise, it's a little bit different between Dubai and Ireland. That could be a bit of could be a bit different. One thing I want to bring up with the under 23 and it's open to divisions and Premier, it's the blending of talent, which I find is fantastic. St John's had Glenn Costas, captain. He went over, I believe, in 2013. Yeah, and he struck up a friendship. They're inseparable now. It's a little bit disgusting. But with Aaron Thornton, who was once at Elstonwick, and then he came over to St John's. So there's friendships that you wouldn't think that you would have, and then you strike up a bond. And I know they're very close with like Brad Goss up in the Premier Division. So it's fantastic that blending of talent.
And there hasn't been an under 23 game just on that rep footy for a couple of years now.
Yep.
You were in the last one, Josh.
Yeah.
Is that something you'd like to see continue into the future?
Yeah,
what's your thoughts?
absolutely. Like there's same thing. There's some guys that I'm really good mates with now at St Bede's and all over the place that look that you wouldn't really ever get to experience that. You get to play on Blundstone Arena. You get to play on some amazing grounds, and it's just an amazing experience. It keeps you sort of interested. Like it's a tough gig to get in that senior squad, but the 23 sort of gives you a bit of hope as a pathway into that next echelon of VAFA players. It's just something to look forward to. Middle of the year, you go look at for the second year that I played 23s, it was the best experience, and like the first experience sort of kept you get to go interstate and get to go away for a weekend and play the game you love. So I don't understand why they got rid of it, to be honest, but that's their call. But I hope they bring it back, and I know a lot of my mates are keen to play that are a bit younger as well. Gives them a good opportunity.
Certainly not off the cards, and we hope to see you back very soon. But that is all we have time for tonight on the VAFA Tragics. We've got to thank our special guest. He's been fantastic.
Fantastic.
This is going to be
Maybe back.
Yeah,
We'll bring you back later in the year.
Depends how much it hurts the finances.
He's up for a loss.
Oh, yeah, I might just send the bill to the VAFA.
Yeah, I think you should.
Could be
Maybe
quite
to
high.
Nick. Maybe.
Yes. Yeah, straight to me. No, we really appreciate you taking the time to come on, and all the best for the rest of the season. We hope to see you back on here in a couple. Maybe throughout the year.
Thanks, Josh.
We'll see. Thank
No
you.
pressure. Brenton, thank you for joining us. You're about to see a little bit more of Brenton. He's got tonight's tragic take, so tune in for that. And thank you again for tuning in this week. We hope to see you back next week for more VAFA Tragics.
For this week's tragic take, a look at scoring. It's back. 2017 is the year of fast-paced, free-flowing football, big bags, big goals, and we absolutely love it. I've had a look at Premier Division, William Buck Premier over the last 4 years, and there's been a spike this year, and the top 4 percentage is averaging 152%. In 2015 it was 132, and in 2016 it was 126. That says to me that 2017 is going to be one of the most hotly contested years in William Buck Premier that we have seen in a long time, and we absolutely love it here on the Tragics.